Okay, I can start. So welcome everyone. My name is Roland Vogel. I'm Executive Director of CodeX, Stanford Center for Legal Informatics. And we're thrilled to welcome you here at Stanford Law School for our 6th LLM and Law Hackathon. Some of you may remember we ran the globally first LLM and Law Hackathon in 2023. And so we see that excitement has continued to build. And this time we had 640 people register for this hackathon. So really amazing turnout and really operating at capacity. So we'll be taking over the entire Stanford Law School today. And yeah, welcome everyone. So we have a big day ahead of us. None of this would be possible without the generous support of our CodeX affiliates, Norm AI, DLA Piper, and Filevine, and our generous Hackathon and CodeX Future Law sponsors. I should say this is the start of our CodeX Future Law Week, and we are grateful for the generous support of our sponsors, which are Bayshore, El Abogado, Udia, EvenUp, Glade AI, Harvey, Hugging Face, LexisNexis, Llama Index, Midpage, Fenroy, 3 Crowns, and the Trust Foundry. I also wanted to give a heartfelt thank you to the incredible team behind this hackathon. So Pierre, where's Pierre? He's really the main brains behind this. Then, of course, Aparna, and Aparna has been amazing, and Jay, and the entire Stanford Law School program group. It's been really a lot of people behind this effort, and thank you for all your hard work. Yeah, so as I said, we have a big day ahead of us. We'll be kicking off the day with 3 amazing keynotes. First we have Rajan Patel. He's a VP at Google, in charge of various important efforts, including Google Answers and Google Lens and so on and so forth. He's a doctor in PhD in biostatistics, and he's a VP of engineering at Google, and he will be kicking us off. And maybe I'll also mention the other keynotes quickly while I'm here, so I don't have to hop in and out. So then we have Mar Henderson, who is the founding managing partner of PeerVC. She is a leading venture capitalist globally, not just here in the Valley. She has a PhD in electrical engineering from Stanford, serial entrepreneur with 14 patents. She's been on the Forbes Midas list since 2021. So she's one of the most distinguished venture capitalists, and we're really happy to have Mar here with us today. And then we'll have Dr. Kane Elliott. Here he will be, he's a head legal futurist and senior vice president at Filevine. He's a technologist who's been teaching at various universities and is leading, sort of the enterprise technology effort that Filevine is leading in the legal space. So. So with that, again, welcome everyone. I wish you all an inspiring, creative, and productive day. And let's get started. Over to you, Raj. Rajan, sorry.
Okay, I think they're going to pull up the slides. Oh, here we go. All right. Okay. What an incredible day to be inside. It's good to see everybody, 9 o'clock, ready to go, bright and early. So Thank you for being here. I'm Rajan Patel. I am VP of Engineering for Search at Google, where, of course, billions of people come every single day to ask their hardest questions. And I've been there now almost 20 years, and over the last 19 or so years, I've seen many platform shifts. We've seen the shift from desktop to mobile in 2007, 2008, where the kinds of questions people ask, in particular on mobile, and how often you're able to ask a question because you can just pull out your phone and now you can hit a mic and ask a question over your voice, or you can ask a question on the go. Now you can ask so many different questions that you couldn't before. And then there was platform shifts with AI early on before Transformers, with deep learning and with embeddings that enabled us to build products like voice search and products like visual search with Google Lens, or image search, news, and so forth, so that people could ask questions about what's going on in the world around them right now, immediately. And then, of course, in 2017, a handful of my colleagues wrote a paper on Transformers, and since then, we were able to answer even more complex questions, natural language questions. You didn't have to start talking, communicating with Google by using keywords. You could actually just type naturally and ask whatever question you wanted. And that was really like the foundational moment that spearheaded a lot of the work that's happening today, not just in products like LLM products that you can use to converse with and chat with, but also in how you work and how you code. You all are going to get to experience that and have experienced that over the last couple of months. And today, of course, you're going to hack away in whatever coding environment you choose. Maybe Anti-Gravity by Google, but more likely probably one of our competitors. But what I wanted to spend the rest of the time talking with you about is how LLMs are transforming search and how we're transforming our product, kind of rebuilding our product from the ground up as an AI-first product that can help you ask whatever question is on your mind, however you want to ask it, and give you access to all of the world's information, including legal information, so that you can ask any question you want, however you want. So you can ask with voice, with video, with images, and so forth. So I want to talk a little bit about something we launched over the last year called AI Mode. So AI Mode is kind of our rethinking of what we think a search engine should be. And I want to talk a little bit about how it works, so that you can kind of get a behind-the-scenes understanding of how we think about building a search product and how we think about kind of hacking away at a new version of search. And some of you might be building search-like products today. So how this works, just really briefly. Oh, it doesn't repeat, unfortunately. Okay. But I'll press this button and maybe it'll do it. How this works is it takes your complex query and uses an LLM to break it down into smaller pieces. So it breaks it down into what we call query fanouts. And those query fanouts then do retrieval over our search index. So luckily for us, we've been working for like 25 years on building an incredible index of the world's information, retrievable by natural language queries, also by images and voice, and ranked really well so that all of the highest quality, authoritative content publishers and answers that are relevant to your question show up there. And I know it's paused now, but I guess you've already seen it twice, so you don't have to see it again. And so what we're able to do then is take your hardest questions, ask an LLM, hey, what are the different aspects of this question that we need information to answer? And then we'll issue all of those queries in parallel for you by default, retrieve back all those answers, and give it back to the LLM and say, okay, hey, now can you provide a helpful response based on these results, and link back to them so a user can click on them to dig in deeper. Because what we learned in addition to providing answers, well, it's not sufficient just to provide a response. What you really want is to build trust, and how you build trust is by providing the link back to a source that the user trusts. And so that might be a website from Stanford, it might be a government website, it might be Wikipedia, it could be whatever it is. In fact, it can be personalized because different people trust different sources, and you want to make it so that, hey, the response you provide is rooted in the information that people trust. And so that's kind of the foundation for how we think about search. It's, well, help you do all of those searches that you used to do manually over and over and over again. Well, let's do that for you. Let's read the results for you to some extent to provide an overview of an answer that can be helpful to you, but then provide you back the links that you might want to build trust in that answer. And that's kind of just the foundational aspect of it, but there's a lot more, right? The web doesn't quite have all of the real-time data that you might want. You might want shopping information as well. So what are all the products and offers on the internet? And so what we did there is we took a catalog of all of the products we could find, not just on the web, but through what merchants provide to us in feeds, and organize that information, have an LLM do that organization for us, and then make that accessible to search as well. And so fundamentally, what the search product becomes is a set of tools that an LLM, in this case Gemini, can reference and call and retrieve information, not just from the web, but from all of our first-party data, shopping data, our Google Maps, our local data, Google Flights data, sports data, weather data, finance data from Google Finance, and have that accessible to you at your fingertips. And what our job then becomes is how can we give the model access to more and more and more information and tools and data so that it can synthesize and answer across all of these different sources of information and make that response as helpful to you as possible. This is the direction we're going with AI. You can ask these questions today. A lot of this launch, actually everything I'm talking about is launched because, well, this is a public talk, I guess. One of the other cool things is it's not just like public information that's now accessible. It's also your personal information if you opt in. So there's a new feature that we just rolled out a couple of weeks ago called Personal Intelligence, where now we can connect, if you so choose, your Google Photos and your Gmail data and more of your own data to search so that we can personalize responses and make it really easy for you to not just like get better tailored recommendations for, let's say, a restaurant recommendation for dinner on Saturday night, but also, personal inquiry questions like, hey, what was that computer monitor? Like I asked this question a couple of weeks ago. He was asking me like what computer monitor I had. And I was like, I don't know. So I asked AI mode, like, hey, what was that computer monitor I bought a couple of years ago? And it knows because it has the receipt in my Gmail. It's able to pull it out. And what part of the magic to that is, well, how do you convert that query into like a query fan out to the right tools and the right backends? And that's kind of some of the work that we work on internally. But making all of this data accessible and combining it all together and having the LLM do that, where it's not just you making a query on Gmail data, but it's the combination of that email I got from that receipt from the monitor with the shopping tool call that I can make to understand, well, what's the current price of that monitor and who sells it and where should I go and buy it near me today? And having the LLM orchestrate all of that makes this magical for people. Because in the past, what we might do is we say, oh, let's build a feature where you can query Gmail and integrate that into search. And let's build another feature where you can build a shopping, just shopping catalog in search. Then these things wouldn't compound. And so the magic of AI, in particular with what we're doing with Gemini and AI mode, is building capabilities, not features. Building capabilities for these models to be able to compose a response that intersects multiple sets of data, multiple tools and providers. And so as a result, you can do really, really powerful things and expand the kinds of questions people ask. So here's like, okay, what are some good long-lasting code options I should buy for my upcoming trip? So we know what your upcoming trip is because you've opted in to linking your Gmail account. Now, and maybe your Gmail has your reservations for your flights and your hotels. And so then we can connect that with weather data so we know like what the weather is going to be at the place that you're going. And so we can tell you, oh, well, here's a coat that we might recommend because we can connect that to your shopping data. So all of this is happening in the background without you having to do anything. Just ask a question like you're talking to another person. And that's just the very beginning of it. That's where we're started. But of course, all of this extends naturally to multimodality. Most of the LLMs you work with today, in particular the Gemini models, they're multimodal by default. So you can just not just ask the question with words, but you can ask it by just pointing your camera at it or speaking to it. And so as a result, this gets really, really powerful, and you don't really have to go and build anything twice as a team internally. You just build it one time, and it just works because the models are natively multimodal. So you don't have to build a separate product for visual search or voice search or whatnot. It's just one stock, one model. And lastly, the models aren't just good for information retrieval. In fact, the line between information retrieval and creativity is quite blurry. And so we start to use, I'm going to show that one more time. We start to extend search now, where you can point your camera at something and create. And the reason we do this is like, well, if you stop the product at just information retrieval, if you want to write, if your homework assignment is, hey, I want to write an essay on Benjamin Franklin. Well, is that an information retrieval question or a creativity question or productivity question? So it gets blurry. So we want to try to just expand the boundaries of what search is for and make it useful to more and more people. So thank you with that, and that's all the time I have. Really appreciate everyone's time. Good luck today at the Hackathon. What an incredible opportunity you all have. And yeah, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. With that, I think I'll hand it to Mark.
Yeah.